Yo, what's going on, guys? You got Ace here, coach of the Anaheim Altares, facing off for NPL Miners, week number 6 against Techno, Techno YY, King Candy, the god himself, uh, coach of the Carolina Pantherians, and I guess I'll go over the drafts real quick. Usually this is the part of the video where I say he has a really threatening draft, but in my opinion, his draft isn't the best. He does have three mons that work extremely well together though. He has the one of the best fire water grass cores in the game, Hapu Bulu, Victini, and Manaphy. Manaphy being his Z user, which can go for both the Z Rain Dance and or an offensive Z move. Well, not and, but or. And then the rest of his draft is Cofagrigus, Hippowdon, Mega Absol, Cresselia, Umbreon, Weezing, and Hitmontop. So first thing I noticed about his draft is that a lot of his mons that take hits are kind of setup fodder for a decent amount of my mons. Like you can see, the first mon I brought is actually this nasty Plot Thundy. I have Bulk to live. I believe it was, yeah, I have Bulk to live in Ice Beam from Manaphy. Or was it a Surf? I don't think I can live out an Ice Beam from Manaphy. I can live a Surf from Manaphy after Rocks. So that's what the Spadef Bulk is for. I don't really need the special attack that much. So this is a decent middle ground play against Manaphy. If he decides to set up, that's great. If he attacks me, I can. That's not as great, but I can, force him out. So this set is really good, very important against him actually. It outspeeds his whole team except the Mega Absol and potentially a Scarfed Bulu. And Mega Absol, obviously its knockoff isn't going to be doing a lot to me since I have the Z move. And Bulu will either have to hit a Stone Edge or it won't be Scarfed or it won't come. So, in my opinion, the team I brought, Bulu can't really do that much against me. I'll get into why that is later. If you look at the 6 mons I brought in, Bulu puts in a ton of work, but I'll get into that. Next mon is a defensive Megalodios. This is my best Victini check. Victini kind of runs house on my team, like even a Scarf Victini especially. If I don't bring this Megalodios, I understand he can go for a banded U-turn and do a lot to me, but I just kind of need this mon to help deal with that better. It's a decent middle ground play against Manaphy since I don't let him set up, because he is taking a decent amount from Dragon Pulse, because 160 base special attack, even without any EV investment, is still very strong. This mon also beats Tapu Bulu late game if he goes for Wood Hammer. I'm not too KO'd by that at all. I beat his walls with Toxic, besides Umbreon, which can get a Synchronize on me and deal a decent amount with Foul Play. So I'll have to be careful of that. And I take a hit from Mega Absol and do a lot to it with Dragon Pulse. So decent mon against his team. Not the best really, but it's probably my best wall against his wall breaker, which is Victini. So it's going to be my switch into most of his mons. And Dragon Pulse, he doesn't have the best Dragon Resist, so it's going to be hard for him to switch into it. He'll have to, commit a mon like Cress and risk it getting Toxic. To the third mon, this is my win condition. We have Sapsipper, Citrus, Belly Drum, Azumarill. The thing about this set is I don't really need to have huge power to be able to sweep him. I'm actually more likely to sweep him with +6 Sapsipper than I am with +6 huge power, because +6 Flare Off, I believe almost takes out Bulu, or it takes out Bulu after Rocks. +6 Aqua Jet takes out Victini after Rocks. Cofagrigus is an issue, but I have ways to wear it down versus on the rest of my team. Mega Absol drops to +6 Aqua Jet. Cress again. This is why I sort of have the Toxic Megalodios, because I have to be able to wear down his threats, and you'll see actually my next mon is a Banded Darmanitan to help deal with that stuff. Manaphy is going to be baited into going for Energy Ball, and I can set up a Belly Drum on it and kill it, or not kill it, but do a ton to it with Flare Off. Umbreon, obviously I do a ton to it with Flare Off as well. I'm EV to outspeed most Umbreon sets. Weezing, it's going to be a little bit difficult dealing with Weezing, but I don't think he'll bring it based on the fact that I have Megalodios, and Megalodios can sort of switch in for free on Weezing, and he doesn't have the best, Dragon Resist. And Hitmontop, drops the player off. So this mon sets up on 2 very potent mons on his team, and it can sweep him if I weaken his walls. So that's really nice. And then we have Banded Darmanitan. You know, if I'm able to get this mon in like on a double or on any of his mons really, Flare Blitz kind of just gets a kill. Like his only switch in is Manaphy, and he might not want to commit damage on that early in the game, so yeah, this mon will get a kill every time it comes in. So that's pretty cool. Lucario, I have an air balloon set. This set is if it's late game and Hippowdon is still healthy. Like in my mocks, a lot of the time, Hippowdon was giving me grief late game because, especially Stone Edge Hippowdon, because Latios had already died to some gimmick. Thundurus was pressured by Stone Edge and just rocks in general. Azumarill couldn't set up on it because it doesn't do enough with Waterfall, and it can't afford to take an EQ, plus rocks, plus sand, and all that. Couldn't sweep yet. Darmanitan can't OHKO it. Crook doesn't pressure it too much with its moves. So I decided, you know, I need to have a mon to hard switch into Hippowdon and pressure him with. So I have this Lucario. Again, just like with the Thundurus set, his team is pretty slow, so like Nasty Plot, Flash Cannon, Dark Pulse, Vacuum Wave, and put in a ton of work versus him. Vacuum Wave for that Mega Absol. Really my only mon to revenge Mega Absol, which is kind of scary, but I don't feel like Mega Absol is revenging a lot on my team in turn. Only really like the Darmanitan. So that's not too bad. And last mon I have is a Crook. This is my dedicated lead. I have Intimidate to help intimidate mostly Hippo, so that its EQ isn't too KOing me, and rocks are really good against him because of that Victini, and because of, you know, just wearing down his walls in general for that Azumarill sweep, hopefully. And then knock off EQ. Knock off is great just to knock off his walls leftovers, taunt to prevent him from getting up rocks earlier. So that's the team. Let's get into the match. Do some routine live editing. There we go. So, there we go. Alright, so as you can see, Techno brought sort of what I expected. I had expected possibly Bulu over Cofagrigus, or maybe Cress over Cofagrigus. But pretty much everyone brought Umbreon, Victini, Manaphy, and Hippowdon. So I was expecting those. So the team isn't too different from what I expected. I'm expecting Dharma to put in a lot of work because 3 of his mons can, you know, if I get a free switch into Dharma, I can, you know, do a ton to either 3 of them. So I lead Crook as I plan to do. As you can see, he leads Cofagrigus, so obviously I don't want to get Will-O-Wisped. So Taunt is a pretty free play here. He doesn't want to switch Absol in on a potential offensive move. He doesn't want to have Manaphy take an EQ early game. So he actually goes Hippowdon on my Taunt, which is great for me because I can just get at my rocks the next turn. As his EQ does about 50 to me, but it's a fair trade because rocks are really great against him, and he's taunted, so I can get a free switch out to Mega Latios. So that is what I do. I go into Mega Latios. He goes for EQ again. He can't really do anything else. I'm not sure if he had Stone Edge or not. So here, sort of it was kind of a hard play to make here because I figure either he knows I'm defensive to deal with Victini, and he kind of predicts that and goes for a Stealth Rock or a Toxic, or he thinks I'm offensive with like Draco and he switches out into Umbreon. So I kind of expect him to stay in and get up his rocks because he really needs them for Darm and Thundy. Like to put Thundy in range of Absol's Ice Beam or something like that. So I go for Toxic expecting him to stay in, but as you can see, he actually switches out into Umbreon, so that's pretty bad for me. Getting this thing Toxic is really nice, but having Latios Toxic is really kind of a drag because it'll be taking residual damage and can't wall Victini as well and can't wear down his mons like Hippowdon as well. So that's kind of a drag. So I have to switch out here. I go into Darmanitan because I figure he's not going for foul play. He's just going to go for a Wish probably, or a Heal Bell or something like that. But he actually goes for a Baton Pass, so that's pretty bad for me, and goes right into Powdon. I need to U-turn out because I can't take an EQ. So go into Crocodile just to intimidate this thing, and if on some off chance he doesn't go for rocks, I can taunt him and prevent him from getting those up. So he does go for the rocks. I just click knock off here. I want to get rid of a potential Yachi Berry so that Thundurus has a better time against it late, or potential Rocky Helmet so that Darm does better against it. But I actually get a crit, so I'm able to 2KO him, and he kind of over predicts a little bit and goes for EQ rather than slack off, because he kind of expected me to taunt on his slack off. So now he's in EQ range because of the crit, so that kind of blows for him, because now his, one of his bigger checks to Darm has gone. That's good for me. Obviously, like, Pasho Berry on this Crook isn't really going to be doing much now because I'm so weak. So nothing I can really do about, Manaphy setting up for, well, he can't set up both a Z Rain Dance and a Tail Glow here, because I have Taunt, and if he goes for Z Rain Dance, I taunt him and then he can't Tail Glow. And then I can go into something like a Azumarill and deal with him that way. So I just go for taunt here as he takes me out with Surf, which is fine because I can go right out into Thundy. I don't know if he's a Z move or not yet, or he could also be Wakan to deal with this Thundurus and surprise kill it. So I go for the safe Z move because Z move takes him out here even if he's Wakan, and he also has no other switch, and basically Z move guarantees me a kill here. So he decides to sack his Umbreon. I actually get a crit Z move, but it doesn't matter since he was just sacking. So he now goes out into Victini. This play didn't make that much sense to me because I obviously, outspeed Victini. I have a 101 speed tier, and Dark Pulse does a lot to it. Like, I have a chance to kill after rocks. So I figure he's probably a Scarf Victini the way he brought it in, because he probably would have brought in Absol against me if he wasn't a Scarf Victini. So knowing that he can't really risk going U-turn here, because if his bluff works and I take the bait on non-Scarf Victini, then U-turn doesn't gain him anything, it just gains him another move he has to switch into. So I go into Mega Latios, pretty safe play. I take V-Create really well. And now he actually has no Dragon Pulse switch in because he doesn't want Manaphy to take all that damage. It's already taken one rock switch in, and Absol kind of just drops to it, and Victini drops to it. And Cofagrigus is, depending on his investment, he could be 2KO'd, maybe a 3KO. So he actually switches out into Kofag. It's not a 2KO, unfortunately, but at this point, I don't want to Dragon Pulse and let Latios die, because Latios has more utility against his team than Darm does at this point, because Darm at this point, it dies to any of Victini's moves, it dies to any of Absol's moves, and it dies to any of Manaphy's moves. So I figure that since Darm can take a Shadow Ball or a Hex here, it's a much better Mon to sack here than Lottie. So I go into Darm, and that works out really well for me as it goes for Hex, and Flare Blitz gets a kill. So I go for Flare Blitz, he drops, and now he brings in Manaphy. He still can't really afford to go for a Tail Glow here because if he's Wakan, he's put in range of Thunderbolt just from my Flare Blitz, because he probably knows I'm Bandit at this point, even with no sheer force because I'm Mummy now. So he's just going to take me out with the Surf, which is fair. So I take this opportunity to go into my Azumarill. I know this thing will either have no move to hit me or Energy Ball. So there's nothing this thing can really do to me except Ice Beam Freeze. So this is the freest setup of my life. Absol, if he's max speed to speed time my Sneasel, he'll just die to Aqua Jet. This Manaphy is in range of Play Rough because he's probably near max speed to probably creeping my Darm. And then Victini is in range of Aqua Jet. So I go for the Belly Drum here as he goes for the Energy Ball. My Sap Sipper procs and Belly Drum goes off. This is great for me. I mean, I'm not in range of any of his moves. He has to go for Ice Beam Freeze at this point, or pray that Play Rough doesn't take him out. So he goes for Tail Glow, praying that Play Rough doesn't take him out. But, you know, Azu's strong, even without the huge power. That Manaphy goes down. This Absol's in range, so it'll just drop to this not Sucker Punch, it drops to this Aqua Jet. And this Victini will drop to the Aqua Jet. So Azumarill putting in all the work this game. This game was really important too because Techno was the first in my conference and I was third actually. I was 3-2 going into this game and he was 4-1. So beating him by 4-0 this game means I'm actually first in conference and he's second. So that's really great. Unfortunately, after being first in conference, I learned that Techno actually isn't eligible for promotion because he was sort of a late season replacement coach. So unfortunately, even though like I'm beating him out now, it doesn't matter because he can't be promoted anyway. But it's still nice to get a win rather than a loss, of course. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week where I play against Tone. And see you guys later.